What made Zapotec queens so powerful? Imagine a world where women are not just seen as supporters or caretakers but as leaders who shape history. That's exactly what happened in the Zapotec civilization. Their queens held a level of influence that surprises many today. So, what made them so powerful? Let's find out. First, Zapotec society believed that rulers were messengers between the human world and the divine. Queens, like their male counterparts, claimed divine ancestry, often tracing their lineage back to gods or sacred ancestors. This divine connection gave them a spiritual authority that was just as important as political power. They weren't just figureheads. They were seen as intermediaries who could communicate with spiritual forces. This made their role sacred and respected across the civilization. Queens also gained strength through strategic marriages. These alliances connected different city-states and created political bonds that benefited the entire society. For example, a noblewoman from one city might marry into another, solidifying peace and cooperation. These marriages elevated queens from being mere family members to key players in political decisions. They helped legitimize their husbands' rule and ensured the continuity of their family's power over generations. In religious life, queens played vital roles in sacred ceremonies. They participated in rituals that maintained the balance between the earthly and divine realms. Temples were often aligned with celestial events, and queens helped perform ceremonies that kept the cosmos in harmony. Their involvement in these rituals meant they controlled access to spiritual power and influenced the religious practices of their people. Unlike some ancient civilizations where power was centralized in a single ruler, Zapotec power was more spread out. It was negotiated through rituals, family ties, and sacred places. Queens could exercise influence within their own communities, temples, and networks. They often held sway over local affairs, making their authority quite significant even without a king's title. Queens also controlled the succession of rulers. Their sons inherited the throne, and queens served as symbols of dynastic legitimacy. Their influence extended beyond their lifetime through their children. For example, the Red Queen's sons expanded their city's power, showing how queens shaped history through their family lines. This control over succession made them essential to the stability and growth of their civilization. Trade was another area where queens wielded influence. Through marriages and family ties, they connected to trade routes across Mesoamerica. The Zapotecs controlled key routes through the Tehuantepec Isthmus, linking different regions. Queens, as part of elite families, had access to luxury goods and important information, boosting their status and economic power. Finally, the tombs and monuments built for queens show how highly they were regarded. The Red Queen's elaborate tomb, with its crimson decorations, was a lasting symbol of her power. These monuments ensured her legacy endured long after her death. They served as reminders of her influence and helped preserve her memory for future generations. In many ways, the power of Zapotec queens echoes ideas that are still important today. Their spiritual authority, family influence, and role in society highlight how women can be central figures in leadership. Their legacy reminds us that leadership isn't just about military might but also about spiritual connection, family, and cultural influence.